How'd you get into this stuff?
Very well.
Was it a pilot before working with Seabourn?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
No, I work for the manufacturer.
Right.
5 minutes later,
If you want additional information,
Excellent. So happy.
thank you so much.
On your way out?
Yes, we're
Come on in, everybody. Come on in. A cruise sub 7 because it's designed to operate from a cruise ship and it has 7 people in it. So yeah, big marketing meetings about that name. Took a lot of time to get there. Somebody made millions off of it anyway. So yeah, you can see 7 people, so that's 6 guests, 1 pilot. So 3 seats in the stern here, 3 seats in the bow. The seats are super luxurious, leather, very comfortable, nice and wide. Human torch is about this big, those seats are about this big. Pilot seats, that big. And I'm pretty sure they put nails in it, like
Right.
away. Pilot sits in the middle here. You'll note that the credit domes are this side and nothing this side. This is because we have X-ray vision. So all our screens are there. I do have a little window here, so I often drive kind of like this. So I've learned all sorts of new skills as a pilot. The way it works, this is a dive tank. We have 4 of them, 1 in each corner. They are hollow. There is a hole in the bottom. So when we put it into the water tries to go into the dive tank, but can't because it's full of air. On the top, we have a hydraulic valve. So when we're ready, we hydraulically open the valve, all the air goes out, the water rushes in, the sub goes down. Simple. These are vertical thrusters, so we can actually push ourselves down or push ourselves up as we need. We keep the sub positively buoyant, so that if I do absolutely nothing, it will just start to rise very gently to the surface. It's another one of the safety features. Yeah, we can push ourselves down. We have 6 horizontal thrusters that can maneuver the sub in any direction I want. We can crab, forward, up, very maneuverable. As we go down using our thrusters, it is rated to 300 meters. So we can go down to 300 meters. As you can understand, the further you go down, the darker it gets. So we carry with ourselves lights, which are this is how in tune we are with our machinery. Telepathic thing. So those bright lights you saw that came on last, those are 52,000 lumens each. So just as a point of reference, your car headlights, 1,000 lumens. So they are water cooled, so they do get very hot, so we will turn them off in a couple of minutes. But please feel free to take a photo of me, of the sub. Yeah, we can turn those. Yeah, so those lights are important. Not just to see, but also for colour. So as you go down, all the colour leaches out and becomes blue and green and all the rest. They bring the colour back into everything we see. So yeah, and it's quite amazing. You go down. It's a nice experience, how the colour just sort of goes darker and darker and darker, and you feel like you're in a foreign world, and suddenly the lights come on and you're at the bottom and you can see everything. It's really, really great. I enjoy it. So yeah, any questions? Goes down to 300 meters. So even though it does go down to 300 meters, we very rarely do. This is because it does take a long time to get down there. So it would be a case of we get down to the bottom, there's the bottom, sorry folks, we're going back to the top now. So we try to avoid that. But also at 300 meters, very little lives down there. So we pick dives between sort of 80 and 180, 200 meters, something like that. Some are deeper that we know are good, but usually around those, you get a bit more bottom time and you see more stuff that's living. That's a great question. I'm counting on people asking all these good questions. That's great. So this whole door is actually this is a whole wall is a door. It opens up. We hook it up to this crane here, and this gantry slides out with the sub attached, and we lower it into the water. And then the pilot gets on there, drives to work, dive site, and yes, get onto a Zodiac and meet us there.
How do they get to the end of it?
Yeah, from a Zodiac. So you would board from the sideboard. As the cruise goes on, you get very used to the mud rooms and where you board. Right. Yeah. So this sits in the water to about here. So the Zodiac comes up to there, so it's a very easy step on, provided that it's not too rough. We've lost very few guests that way.
What's the orange? tube's going to...
So the storage tube, that's just air conditioning. So the ventilation in the garage brings the air from the outside, which is marine air. Has like, so we just keep that to keep the electronics cool and dry. We don't take that out. Because then the hatch won't close, you get water in, it's not to hold us up.
If we want to watch it going out, is there like a place that we can watch it going out?
So the patio on deck 5 is right above the sub garages. So there's like the glass wall there, so there's a bit of a windbreak. You can see us doing our things there. And don't video it because we often make horrible mistakes. But we go for so many pilots, they sink.
What are some of the typical marine life or plant life that you would see in Antarctica?
So Antarctica is one of these really special places. It's not like the Caribbean where you just get like massive schools of fish, but what we see is often stuff that no one's seen. We know of these species, but humans actually see that very space. It's very cool. I've seen sea stars, sea critter stars, sea feathers, sponges, corals, all this sorts of stuff. We had a fish on one of my last dives, came right up to the sub and started headbutting one of the lights. I took a photo of that fish. We still haven't identified that fish. Don't know what it is. So, you're seeing really unusual stuff and cool stuff. And the really great thing is that, stuff grows so slowly and it's really old. Some of the sponges we see are hundreds and hundreds of years old. And, it's very cool. But you never know what you'll see. It's always exploration. Yeah.
Do you take photos and videos during the dive?
So you can. We have a camera on board. We're currently using it for science. So we actually video the seafloor and we send it off to scientists who are recording what's there in order to try and make marine protected areas in place. So that's what we're using our camera for. But as a pilot, I often, at the end of the cruise, ask guests to send me their photos because you guys get the best photos. Sitting in the middle, I'm trying to take photos, I just get the backs of your heads. So if you want photos of the backs of your heads, I can supply that for you.
Kind of like a Bluetooth speaker we can play music down there?
Yes, I play a little soundtrack of my own, bit of Seabourn, some soothing music. Because I'm a terrible driver, it's very scary, so I try and calm people down. No, I'm joking about that. Seriously. Is anyone recording that? No,
Sorry.
You're very welcome. No more questions? Come on. Sorry?
How many trips have you done?
That's a great question, so this particular sub has done over 150 dives. Other one's done almost 200. I don't know why. One's done more, but people like the odd numbers rather than the even numbers. But lots of dives, even though we've been operating since July. So,
How do you fit into a sub that has maximum development?
Okay, so that's a very common question. I thank you for it. There is huge differences. So basically, the mistake that person made was he was trying to push boundaries, which is admirable. I really appreciate what that person was trying to do. The way he went about it, not so great. So he was using materials that were not approved by class. Our subs are approved twice by class. Through the whole build program, they visit the factory, they approve the materials, then they approve the build process, and then they come on a dive and approve the final product. So it's a multi-step process, and they give us a little certificate saying this is according to whatever standards. Didn't do that, and everyone was trying to pressure him into doing that because they were worried about his use of fiberglass, which is not a common material for very good reasons. He refused to do it because he knew he wouldn't pass. So he was trying to cut corners, and he ultimately paid the ultimate price and took people with him. So it's all about materials. It's about your ratings. It's about safety inspections, which we have actually twice. So 2 class societies have independently reviewed our subs.
How long does the dive last?
It's a 45-minute dive from hatch closed to hatch open, but the whole process is about an hour and a half. How do you become a pilot? How do you become? Would you like?
Sure,
You
why
have to
not?
buy a lot of Weet-Bix packets, and then eventually you get the right one and it's in there. That sort of thing. I just downloaded it off the internet and printed it on. It's a very intense course. It is only 3 weeks, but it's a very intense course. You have instructors, much like Tom here, who will come out with you and try and make your life an absolute misery. challenge you in all sorts of ways. You do at least 20 dives plus a whole lot of exams, and then you basically have to know the sub like the back of your hand. And for the final exam, I actually cheated and wrote it on the back of my hand, so I really did know it.
Right back of your hand.
You like that one?
Yeah, it was good.
Thank you very much. I'm here all week. This is my show. They won't let me up there. I've got Captain Audience here, so you just watch the power source. So it is electric. So these big lumps at the bottom there, the mountain shaped sort of thing, that's battery. That's a lithium-ion battery. We have two of them, so I can actually run the whole sub off one. So again, it's the redundancy that we build into the sub. Everything runs off that. We have two types of batteries inside, the 24 and the 260 volt. So everything outside, like the lights and everything, that's 260 volts and clusters. And then the computer system and everything else is 24 volts inside. Basically, it lasts between 6 to 12 hours depending on what we're doing, how much current there is, how much diving, moving around we do. And then at night we charge it, just like you would with electric.
When you're there, are you tethered at all?
Absolutely not. So this is actually a submersible, not a submarine. So a submarine is fully autonomous. We have time? Yeah, okay. Sorry, I'm being told not to say light drop. So yeah, this is semi-autonomous. So we rely on the mothership to charge it, fill it there, but we are untethered, so we're semi-autonomous. So that's why we call it a submersible, not a submarine. Well, if that's all